Hello there. How's it going? Um, if it seems like I just kind of, what do you call it? I just got set up here. I was kind of, hold on a second. Go back to just that. Anyway, I just got set up upstairs. I decided I've been working on the Seestar ALP software a bit recently, and I just wanted to have a live stream and go over some things. But first, I see. Let me see. Okay, I set up things so quickly I wasn't sure if everything was set up, like my on-screen stuff. But hello, Red. Hi, Gary. Thanks for joining. And hi, Wiley Site. Thanks for joining. And like the intro music. Thank you. It was, I forget even where I got it from. I think I was kind of looking for some spacey music, I guess, and yeah, I like it. I haven't modified it yet to. I need to figure out the best way to do it, but I need to have since I've had some new members join the channel. I need to give them kind of recognition, and I want to do it. I was wanting to do it on the intro, but I was so kind of busy. But and hello, Joe V. Welcome. So let me yeah, apologies. I usually like spending about half an hour before the stream starts getting everything set up, making sure I have everything running, and I was making some last minute changes to the code to the Seestar Alp software, and I got up here like 10 minutes before the stream started. So if I seem kind of a little chaotic, that's why. Well, one thing we'll see, speaking of chaotic, is how chaotic the weather is for me today, because supposedly it was going to be clear, and it was earlier when I set up the telescopes. But then, let me see. Let's see what this looks like now. This is frustrating. Hold on a second. Gotta stop that. Something was kind of misfiring, but anyway. The selected panel code works. So there was a recent one of the requested items with the Seestar Alp software. It lets you do mosaics, and you can specify kind of the dimensions of the mosaic, and it will kind of, like if you say 4 hours of exposure time, well, I can go, well, I'm not going to go look at it right this second, but anyway, you can specify like the size of the panel. And the problem is, if for whatever reason, like there was weather or like some clouds rolled through while it was, you're taking this multi-hour mosaic, one of the panels that makes up the mosaic might have failed, and there wasn't a good way to kind of redo that. So Kai, the person who kind of started the whole project, added some logic to just recently to be able to specify optionally which panel. So if you have like a 3x3 panel, you can say, okay, I want the first panel and the last panel done again. And you could try to figure out the dimensions and kind of manually set it up, but he added the ability to specify that. And Wiley Site has just added that to the UI, and that's what he's talking about for. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. That'll be great. Okay, just setting up your schedule. See, that's the advantage of this. Now, the problem, actually, yeah. So you can see it actually cleared up a bit. So I've been making some changes to the Seestar, the web interface, and let's see. Yeah, so you can see actually based on because it was kind of hard to tell if these were updating, I went ahead and added some code to just timestamp each frame kind of as it comes off the Seestar. And this isn't through the app. This is all being done through the web interface now. And I have the two telescopes up. This one, I told them both to point at Vega, and this one, this is the A one, which I typically have better luck with. It pointed at it. The B one kind of did, but now it's kind of drifted off, and you can see it's drifting. Which, oh, hi, hi, Jeff. Thanks for joining the stream. So yeah, this one seems to be having its characteristic kind of quirks. And that's this one over here. For some reason, it's kind of, I don't know what it's doing. Now I do have the, since that is interestingly the one that the iPad app that I'm running here is able to connect to, I can go actually look at it, and it claims it's pointing at Vega, but it's not. So now I have, on my very fragile wireless network, I have 3 different devices pulling video. Yeah, the I have made some changes. Like if you went to the streaming modes, those were pretty functional, but the problem was the star mode wasn't great. And there's still some issues because when you go to live view, it takes you into kind of the none view, and it'll actually stop whatever was going on. Like I need to add logic where if it's already doing a live view, to preserve that and just kind of continue. But I don't have that currently. But once the one thing I did add is some better logic. And then the other thing is it's actually all running in one single process, which is new. I'm not like the other night I was running the imaging kind of logic separately in a different Python process. And I kind of, since the last time, I've unified it where now everything's happening through a single process. Now, of course, as a result, it's producing a lot of log files, which is going to be something I'm going to work on at some point. But let's see if this finally came back. That's funny. Yeah, the my live views are updating, but the app is seemingly having a hard time. Maybe if I just kind of repointed at Vega. I mean, so I'm doing the B one through the app, but this one I actually completely pointed at Vega within the web interface. So this one, because I can't talk to this one actually through the app, even on my phone, it won't work. So this one I'm 100% reliant on the app. So yeah, the live view has come a long way. So let me see if this goes on. Now, one thing that's interesting, so you can see that this one updated where it says now it's going auto go to, and a lot of times, oh, it's interesting. It's still updated the image. Now, will it continue to update even while it's doing the go to? Because that would be interesting if it's actually streaming the well, not streaming, but if it's actually updating the live view while it's running a go-to operation, but I haven't seen it update. Although it should be updating soon, perhaps. But so we'll see how well things go today or not because of the clouds. I don't know if Jovi's still there, but one other thing, if I can actually start imaging before you drop off, one thing that I added, yeah, it updated. That's interesting. Oh, it seems like it's behind because I don't see it moving. Okay, you're here. I mean, it's not earth shattering, and you can always see it on another day. I probably won't be able to live stream tomorrow evening because of weather, but I might be able. Saturday is looking kind of okay, maybe. Anyhow, I added um, Grok stretching. Once you actually, technically, it's doing it right now. Yeah, I don't know if you remember. Well, you probably remember it had that hideous green cast to it, and now it doesn't. Um, let's see if this updates. Because if this updates, it should show the bright star. I think this is having issues, so I'm just going to refresh this one. Okay. But basically, I added Grok stretching because, yeah, it turns out the code. I think I looked at it the last live stream. The code's written in Python, and I was having some initial difficulty getting the code working with the image format I had, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get it working. And yeah, no more green. It's yeah, but it kind of really. Oh yeah, see, okay, so this is a side by side. So these are both live views with the same telescope, and this is taking the incoming frame. I mean, it's noisier, but you can definitely see, yeah, you can see fainter stars more easily on the right side one. Yeah. You can also see hot pixels a little bit better too, but yeah, like this star is definitely more visible. I mean, you can see it over here, but it's definitely more visible. And it really starts looking cool when you start imaging things. So actually, I wonder. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try imaging this one, and now one thing, yeah, it's it's a big improvement. It's getting there. It's not 100% robust. So, for example, it's doing the 3-point calibration. But it is, I agree, it is much better. So it's doing the 3-point calibration now, and you can see like this part of the interface updates every few seconds, but this doesn't isn't quite updating like I would have expected it to, or it doesn't handle it. Like I think there's times when it's panning where maybe the interface is where it's maybe not actually producing uh, frames of data, um, or maybe it is, but I don't think it is. But I need to basically kind of pause the display when it's in the 3-point alignment mode, and also when it transitions between taking a photo or doing the continuous exposure and actually stacking photos. It's not quite. Oh, it did update. So I guess it is updating. I'm really curious how this will look if I improve the speed of my network, which I say every time, but it would be interesting to see it kind of panning, or doing the horizontal calibration and having the video live. Okay, and look, it's coming back into frame. Oh, horizontal calibration failed, moving back to origin. So that's cool. You can see it coming back in the frame. But it's probably going to have to do the dark frame. I don't think I actually imaged on this one yet, or did I? I might have. I think I did actually image on this one. Because meanwhile, this one's drifting. Vega ended up drifting out of frame. Moving to origin. Yeah, unfortunately, the moon is invisible. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. The moon is invisible, and Saturn, I'm not sure if it's visible at the moment. But I'll look. Because I know I had looked into it if, and Saturn is further, yeah, I don't know how late at what point it becomes visible from my backyard. Let me look while we're waiting for it to figure out things. Saturn. Okay, it's definitely not visible. I mean, it's because of obstructions. Okay, moving to origin. Yeah, I had this problem too. Oh, okay. It claims, so now it's imaging. So I'm going to wait until, again, it doesn't switch modes. Now you see it updated to stack, but it doesn't handle it gracefully. The transition in the live view, in my version of the live view. But it's that part's a work in progress. So hopefully it won't blur. Hopefully the first frame will actually end up. Well, it is interesting because, so yeah, so these are the equivalent ones, but yeah, here you can see how the Grokspurt's stretching, even though this is a failed stack, like it hasn't registered any time because the first image was trailing too much. The web interface was able to pull it up. So actually, yeah. Let's see. Hopefully this will actually succeed and it won't end up in that never-ending drifting mode. Yeah, I don't know. I might have done something to the mount or something. I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be happy. So let me go. I'm going to stop this. And so I hit stop and we'll see how quickly it registers as just, yeah, continuous exposure. So it updates pretty quickly. So I'm going to go, let's look for M16 and hopefully it's good enough right now. Let's go to M16. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to try M11 because M16 should be visible now. But yeah, I need to get this to more be more responsive when the modes switch. But one of the other things, and one of the other things I want to do is when you're loading an image, when the app is loading an image, you'll see like a little progress indicator, and it sometimes is it seems a little off. And that's one thing I want to do. It's not going to be on the initial version, but it'll be on an update. Now, one thing I did want to mention is once this goes out, once I merge this code, and you'll be able to run it yourself, it's kind of feature flagged, so it's not on by default because it's kind of a rough experience right now. But I added it where if you go, if you go into the config file, I added a new flag, experimental, under web UI. So you have to turn on experimental. Eventually it'll be made to not be experimental, but I feel like it's kind of a rough experience right now. But it's improving. So okay, this updated. Now will this? Oh, it did update on its own. Okay, good. Now, unfortunately, I think this is clouds. So let me start imaging. Oh God, it's gonna do the 3-point thing again. So we're gonna let it fail. Let me see what the sky looks like right now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so that's, well, because it is kind of I guess my concern is it's not 100%. It's not even 80%. It's probably 60, 70%. and it's not like effort wise, but it's just a little bit more effort to make it flow better, where you kind of, when you're changing modes, it doesn't cause problems. Um, uh, Al, hello, greetings. Thanks for joining the stream. Um, but yeah, so since it's kind of a rough experience, I don't want people to see it and then immediately start using it, and because then, you know, I mean, I want people to use it, but if it if I end up fielding a lot of questions when I need to be getting it to that, 90% level, that's why I kind of put it behind a feature flag. And I think also going forward, we'll be able to use it. Now, like, what the heck is going on here? Is this clouds or is it some foreground clutter? Oh, Chief Astro, hi. Thanks for joining. Now the party can start. Chief Astro. No, thanks for joining the stream. Um, I'm just demoing the kind of the new update. Okay. Okay, cool. So it's enhancing. Um, Now I think this is actually showing me. So let me hit reload on this one. This is where I was saying, where when you there's still rough edges, where if you go into the live view, um, it can end up stopping a live view. Um, I also added this loading status, where it's actually kind of streaming the response, and it's streaming the response. Let me hold on. I'm just seeing if it's okay. It got the header. Okay, it got it. Yeah, but that's the thing it got was I know it's scrolling by quickly, but the thing it's getting is not the stacked image. Darn it. Let's see. What in the world? Oh, this is one thing I've noticed. It'll like the frames will reject. But if you're, so while it's stacking, you can have it. Oh, did it stop? Huh. That's weird. Anyway, while it's stacking, you can have it. It's going to do it again. That's so annoying. When it's stacking, you can have it. You can actually, the app will only show you the stack that it's building, but you can actually tell this telescope to send you kind of the continuous live view, which is kind of weird. So I think that's what happened. Yeah, yes, it's M16. At least I'm attempting to do M16. The problem is this particular one keeps failing 3-point calibration or 3-point alignment, and so or the horizontal calibration, it keeps failing that, and so it just ends up taking a while every time. Yeah, I'm trying to get it stable so we can actually like look at the stacked version. Gosh. Yeah, and of course it goes back every single time to increasing the speed of my network. But if you tune in regularly, you're probably tired of hearing me talk about it. It's mostly because it requires some, uh, yeah, some network stuff that I try to keep it to just plugging in network cables instead of making network, doing with network wiring. And I know I've done it before. It's not that complicated, but, um, and it's not like electrical, like mains work where if you get it wrong, you can hurt yourself or start a fire or both. um, like like the one time I got the bright idea of I was trying very carefully to do something with a switch, and the handle was insulated, and I was trying to, but I was doing it live, but I wasn't like unwiring the switch, but I had taken the plate off. Anyway, I ended up accidentally shorting it, and it popped the breaker and shot out sparks. And it was funny because like later that afternoon, I was like, "Do you smell something burning?" I kept like this burning smelling, and I realized it was my shirt. It wasn't. It was like all the smoke from what I had done had kind of permeated the my t-shirt, and I was like, "Oh." um, so yeah, I don't want to do electrical work if I can avoid it, and it's nothing like that. Okay, so why does this one keep drifting? You know what? Um, Maybe I'll just move this one to M16. Well, schedule, we'll do image, M16, look it up. And I'll do it for, why didn't it bring up light pollution filter? I'll do it for 15 minutes, or I'll do it for 20 minutes to start with. It's a meme, fix the Wi-Fi. Yeah, yeah. You have electrical work, replace a GFI, and you'll turn off the breaker. Yeah, that's a wise idea. Um, I don't know why I decided to do it do it live. Okay, so it claims, okay, stacking failed. So let me move this off frame, and let me try reloading this, and hopefully it'll actually load correctly. Because before it was only showing me it was only returning the continuous exposure, not the live stacked version. Because it's two different commands, of course. No, it looks like it's grabbing the continuous preview version instead of the. I hate to do this, but let's see what this one is doing. Let's see what this is doing. It's running. Okay, it's still doing 3-point alignment. Maybe I'll let it finish before I do anything to this one. You found the first gotcha to the select panels. What happened? Oh. So you got to give it the same duration. So the same overall duration. Interesting. EQ or Alt as. What I'm doing is just Alt as. Um, oh, you gave it half the original time. Okay, yeah, yeah, I could see that being. Yeah, and got half the duration of the imaging. Yeah, I could see that. Um, did this fail out again? Because this seems like the live view seems like it's having problems, but the stack is still running. Although it hasn't made a lot of progress. But this is the other one. So let's see what this one's up to. Okay, this one claims it's stacking. So let me go look at the live view on this one. So this is the other telescope. I also pointed at M16. Oh, dang it. I broke it. See, this is where I was saying if you come into this mode, it'll stop the it was stacking, but now it let me go yeah, I really need to fix that. Although this claims it's running. Let me try that again. Let me stop and start it. I'm gonna go back to home. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it that it does that. Let me see if I can shake it out of this mode. I really need to do something about these logs because it's really hard to follow this stuff when it's just streaming by. 2 telescopes, lots of stuff going on, and I've all in one process. And I don't even have debug logging turned on. If I had debug logging turned on, there would be like a lot more data. Plate solve. I don't see a frame. It's really hard to follow. Is it even loading the image? Let me go look over here. No, it's not actually even loading it. Let me try that again. Yeah, it kind of like other things we've worked on where you kind of work on the robustness of it. This, I think, needs some tweaks on the robustness. Because it gets in this mode where it'll stop. Oh, I think I know why. How do I do this without breaking it? What I might end up just doing is, okay, so this one is supposedly stacking. So what I'm actually going to do is stop and restart it. And eventually, like I say, that this is like one of the reasons why it's set up to be why I have it set to be experimental in the UI, because of these issues where it ends up in a kind of a bad state. And yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it did. It read. It did read a large image. Okay. Good night, Jovi. Thanks for joining this. Thanks for coming by. Yes. Yeah, 3 interconnected. Yeah. Yeah, if it's there's a person on the Seestar ALP kind of Discord server, and I think if it's the same person I'm thinking of, he's produced some very spectacular results. Okay. Okay. So this shows you the live view. Okay. Yeah, here. If Joe V is still here, I finally got it working. um, so these are the same telescope, and this is the stacked view in the app, and this is the stacked view um, in the live view with the Graxpert auto stretch applied. So um, I, I it's nice because it's closer to what you see. I think with if you process it well, if you process it with some software, it ends up like a lot more spectacular. But at least it kind of gives you a better idea of what kind of signal you have in the data. Because like this nebulosity here is a bit fainter, whereas here you can see it a little bit better. And yeah, and that's the other thing. It's I kind of have this that wasn't the full size image. This is, and so well, actually let me change the code. Um, oops. Oh, that's the Graxpert code. Let me close that. I'm gonna change it to full size. Okay. So theoretically, I should be able to. Hopefully, this won't take too long. But yeah, you can see that the result is much better. And so this will be nice, especially if I fix the Wi-Fi, where you can see. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do the live stacking, or I've done the what do you call it? I've done the I'll have the Seestar app up and running, but I haven't. I mean, this is all new. This is like less than a week old. Any of this code. Um, yeah. So this is nice. So this is the full size image, um, not scaled down. So that's another thing that's kind of nice about this live view is if you're running it on a monitor, you can run it like full size and kind of see more of the detail. So you can see the pillars of creation in there a little bit better. Now it's obviously still noisy because it's only got like 5 minutes of data and Bortle 9 skies. So, um, but yeah, it's, and the thing that I'm kind of looking forward to is, using this more when I'm doing my sessions because previously I couldn't, easily show what I was doing on at least on the one telescope. The other one I could always bring up the Seestar app, but this now I can bring up both of them. Um, so make up the mosaic restarted. That's cool. Let me see what we're looking at here. But yeah, this will be good going forward. Let's see what's going on with the other telescope. Okay, cool. Okay, so now I have, so these are two different telescopes, telescope 1 and 2. They're both imaging M16. And so again, things that I want to improve. One of them is, like if you look at the app, it'll tell you how much elapsed time is on the exposure. Whereas on this one, I don't yet. But the Seestar actually returns the number of successful frames and the number of failed frames. And so it's not going to be before I'm I'm gonna merge this code like maybe tomorrow. I thought I would do today, but there's a few rough edges I'm seeing on it. Um, or maybe I will merge it since it's feature flagged. But one thing I want to do is I'll get it merged, and then there's going to be some follow-on work while it's still in experimental mode. And one of them is to give more status updating, like how, not necessarily the progress, because that's going to be a little bit more invasive of a change, but but like showing you how much cumulative exposure time you have on the stack, and how many successful frames and how many rejected frames, which I think could be helpful for people. I mean, again, it kind of goes along with the whole project of, trying to give you more control over things. So the what am I using for the live view? I'm not. It's a Chrome based browser, Chromium based browser. It's actually Arc is the name of the browser, which I like Arc a lot. It's called Arc, and it's available for Mac and Windows. And one of the features, it's got a number of features I like it has this kind of sidebar, and where you can have all your tabs and kind of favorites here. And it has kind of things called spaces, which are kind of, I mean, Chrome's added some new features that help manage a lot of browser tabs. But anyway, I like Arc, and one of the things I use a lot is this kind of split screen, where I can have within one window two different web pages. So I have Telescope 1 and 2. But yeah, I'm going to do one of the things I'll do while it's in while this is in kind of experimental mode is at least give the how much exposure time you have on the image. Yeah, Arc browser was Mac only for a long time, and I think it was because they wrote it in, I want to say they wrote it in Swift, and so even though you can get Swift to compile on Windows, all the libraries they were using were Mac specific, so it sounds like it was a big effort on their part to get it working on Windows. But yeah, so here you can see, so I still have the app up just to kind of give you an idea. So this and this telescope are the same. This is the B telescope, and so you can see it's the live view is yeah, it's interesting because not only do you see more detail, kind of, it's just brighter in general, and you can see a lot more stars. But what's interesting is like you can see the stacking artifacts more clearly, which is kind of interesting. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop this one, and I'm gonna switch this one to M11 since this one's not working. So let me go, or do I want to stop this one? Maybe I'll stop this one, because that way you can we can kind of compare it. Actually, yeah. Let me actually do this here. I'm gonna do M11. Yeah, well, I know Wiley's site already answered it, but yes, EQ mode does remove the artifacts. Um, yeah, I don't, but Wiley's site uses EQ mode. I need to try it again. I've tried it in the past, but I only tried it a couple times, and I have challenges in my environment anyway, so that wasn't helping matters. Yeah, there are stacking artifacts, but they're they're not as significant. So let's see. Let's see what this comes up with. Yeah, and one thing, it again, it might not be while it's in experimental mode, but Wiley Site asked about this. Right now, if you use Graxpert, and well, let me bring it up. If you bring up Graxpert, since I lifted the code from Graxpert, and it's if you aren't familiar with code, it was actually okay because it has a certain license, Graxpert's code, and it's the same license actually that the Seestar Alp app has. So the code's compatible. So, but yeah, so if we look at Graxpert, it has different levels of stretch down here. And right now I actually have it hard coded to do 20% BG3 sigma, which is a little bit stronger of a stretch. Even at like 15 BG, it does look better. Actually, I think at every level it looks better than the Seestar stretch, the app stretch. So let me start that. Yeah. Yeah, the Wiley Site's really more of an expert on the EQ mode than I am. But yeah, the Skywatcher wedge should be fine. And yeah, as far as clouds, I mean, the issue, Wiley Site can't actually see, yeah, he just said that he has to do blind polar alignment because, yeah, can't even see Polaris. No, I mean, no, I don't know at this exact moment, but there's people who join the live stream who don't have Seestars. I know because, yeah, yeah. So it's a number of people who are in here regularly do have Seestars, but not everybody has a Seestar, and some have a Seestar. Some have a Seestar and another rig or rigs that they don't use as often, and some have multiple rigs that they use. But yeah, there's definitely some people who show up regularly who don't have Seestars. Okay, so this is stacking. Let's see if I can bring this one up. So this is M. Let me see. I don't know which telescope. One of these, like the stacked image is much larger. So I saw one of them was stacked, but I don't know if it was this one or the other one. B. Okay, B is the one. You know what I could do? If it doesn't show up, what I can actually do is it's funny because remember I said I can stop it. So if I switch to none here, it'll it actually stopped the imaging. So what I'm gonna do is I will bring this back up. And unfortunately it says no object, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start imaging. And okay. And now I can go back into star mode here. And hopefully it will, although maybe I should have waited. Maybe I should have waited for there actually to be a stack. No, it did get data. No, that was A. Plate solve. A. So this read image is the has it actually? Okay, it's actually gotten data. Um, so I personally use Cyril and Graxpert, and I know Wiley Site does as well. And I know other people do use Cyril. Um, I got a trial of both PixInsight and APP, and I didn't really use either one during the trial, and so I haven't. But I've seen some really impressive results with PixInsight, and I'll probably buy it eventually. But um, everything I do is with Cyril, and let's see. I probably should have waited. Let me go ahead and let me see if this loads. Because if it doesn't load, I'm going to have to shut it down again. And then I'll go back one more time. I'll start. Okay, yeah. I'll start recording. And once it has, once it has some data, I'll try reloading the live or switch the Telescope B's live view over here in the web interface. But this is, again, this is why it's going to be experimental until I get these rough edges kind of worked out. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah. So you can, if you're using Mac or Windows, you can either build the alpha version of Cyril, which has proper drizzling, or there are binaries on their build kind of chain. I mean, they're automated builds, and actually, that's what I'm running right now. I had built it myself on Linux, but now I'm using a Mac build of the alpha version with the proper drizzle. And I know Wiley Site's been messing around with the proper drizzle, and I think he's gotten good results from it in Cyril. But yeah, the thing you always hear is PixInsight's drizzle is very good. Yeah, and it's got a steep learning curve. Oh, yeah, the alpha running. Oh, yeah, he has it running on the alpha on Windows, the Linux subsystem on Windows, if I recall correctly. Okay. I just realized I hadn't turned off notifications. And it works well until it doesn't. Yeah, it's the way it often is. Well, this is working, but it's yeah, it's a huge pain. I mean, it's theoretic. Well, I don't know. It wasn't too bad building under Linux, but if you go, what was it, Cyril? If you go under their pipelines, yeah, if you go here, and you pick like one of the pipelines, one of the recent ones, you can go download artifacts. And so it's got like the Mac OS image. Like here's it ended up downloading it, but it's, yeah. So like I know some people have done that where they'll see it downloaded as a zip file. Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, once you get all the prerequisites installed, which if you try, yeah, it's once you get them installed, it's not too bad, and then you can just rebuild it periodically. So for some reason this isn't loading, so I think I might have to stop it and restart it again. Actually, you know what? Um, uh, I'm going directly to the image to see what it's doing. Oh. It says it's connected, but it's not pulling the image. Yeah, this is the problem where it kind of gets in this mode where it refuses to, so I'm just going to stop and restart it. Which isn't ideal, but again, that's one of the rough edges I'm going to sort out. Oh, see, now it's loading. Telescope one's not online. It lies. Yeah, again, this is why I need to work on the kind of this recovery part of it, and also being able to kind of switch modes better, because that's still a bit rough. Okay, they're both online, so let me try this. It says it's still stacking. But yeah, it's that whole process is a little rough. Yeah, Mason tells you what you missed when you're trying to build it yourself. Okay, finally. So here we go. So this is another example of the stretch being applied. So yeah, it's there's more noise on it probably because I'm being more aggressive with the stretch, but actually we can test that out. If I go to the code, again, this will be something configurable. So I think it's, it's literally the same string that you see here in the app. So I'm going to change it to 15% 3 sigma. And I have to restart it because of course I do. Okay. But again, this is why it's experimental. Okay. Let's go here and reload this. I'm just trying to make it a little bit bigger, so hopefully this is actually processing the image now. Okay, yeah. So it very briefly shows up where it says it gets something from the Seestar saying, okay, this is how much data I have, and then it sends it, and then if it's a stack, you have to unzip it in memory and then display it. So let me see. And there's still some quirks where it ends up. There we go. Okay. Ah, finally. Okay. Yeah, it's not as grainy. This is with the 15% stretch. And if you're in an environment with better Bortle skies than me, which is Bortle 9, it's probably not going to be as noisy. It's probably going to look a bit better. And so you might be able to get away with a more aggressive stretch. but it'll be configurable. But it might not be configurable until maybe while it's still in experimental mode. It might become configurable, or maybe it'll be afterwards. But I want to merge the code in so other people can start more actively looking at it. I know some people have looked at it already, but besides on this live stream, more people have seen it on the live stream than have used it in person, because the code's on like a separate repository. So, which is why I want to merge it. But yeah, so let me go ahead and reload this one, which should still be M16. Although, let me see how much longer I have M16 visible. Yeah, M16 is still visible, but barely. Like, it's going to start, like this line isn't necessarily 100% accurate, so it's getting perilously close to a roof. But it's still running. I took a screenshot. I know it's on the live stream, but that way I can but yeah, nice. It's well, it's getting there. It is getting there. But yeah, if you haven't joined the Discord server, I should feel free to join that. Hold on a second. Yeah. So, yeah, it's getting there. Yeah, anyway, I just was sharing the image of the 2 live views. Now, you can see yeah, so this one is updated, and this just updated. So yeah, they're updating. That's not the fastest. Again, that's more a symptom of my wireless network, but yeah, it's definitely getting there. And yeah, and I do want to get the work out some of these rough edges between now and the next live stream, which is probably not going to be tomorrow night, but it'll be Saturday night, I think, because then I can kind of go back to just doing but doing kind of a live observing session, kind of looking at a bunch of different targets, having 2 telescopes going, having the 2 stacked views up and running at the same time. And so kind of, getting some feedback. And actually so speaking of the Arc browser, one other thing, you're not limited to just 2 splits. I could do this, and then I can really go overboard and have, I don't think I can have any more, but I can watch the sky camera, and then we can watch the 2 telescopes. But yeah, as you can see, it's still a little rough, but it's a lot closer than it was even just a couple days, 2-3 days ago, or whenever that was. Yeah. Yeah, it's late there for you. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And yeah, it's definitely big improvement. It's mostly rough around kind of the transition, and recovery isn't 100% right now. Kind of, I had to restart it a couple of times, and I think I know why that is. And I have a general idea of how I'm going to fix it, but I need to just write the code. And if I had a better setup, I shouldn't say better setup. If the setup was slightly different, like right now, the displays over here, if it was kind of more towards the camera, I would consider doing like a live coding session of like me fixing the code. But again, that would be not a main channel thing. But yeah, it's getting there. Yeah. So I'll yeah, if things go well, I'll end up merging this code in between now and Saturday. Maybe on Saturday, or maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And then others will be able to check it out. And I'm going to continue, fixing some of these rough edges. But in the meantime, let me see what other targets I might want to look at. Since it actually did clear up, or it's staying clear, I'm going to keep the, maybe I'll stop at the M16, the M16 session, since that's about to start, that's about to get obstructed. Let's see, what do we want to look at? Yeah. Yeah, it might be by the weekend. It'll be available by the weekend, one way or another. It might not be 100%. It'll be feature flagged. Like you'll have to add experimental equals true to the configuration file, because I mean, it doesn't actually shut it off. It'll still be, the code will still be live. It's just, it won't be visible in the menus. That's all I did, is I hide the live menu option at the top. Like this option just ends up getting hidden. Yeah, it's the minimum viable product. Although I'd say it's slightly less than minimum viable, but it's, the amount of work that has to be done to fix it is not that much. It's just kind of getting all the transitions working correctly, which they've already been fixed a lot. Like, again, since last live stream, one of the big things was I kind of integrated, bolted all the pieces together in one process. So you just run the root app and everything starts up. It actually ends up starting up 3 different web services. It runs the web front end, the kind of back end that talks to the Seestar that always was there, and then a new back end that does the imaging. And so when you pull up this web page, it's actually, the web page comes off one web interface, and then its back end ends up calling both of them. And then the imaging subsystem has to look at the kind of other subsystem, so it knows, like, since the last live stream, I added all that, or kind of that interoperability. And so that was kind of the harder part. And so since that's in place now, those kind of transitions will be easier to fix. I mean, almost better. I mean, it supports multiple telescopes. It does mosaics. It actually, I would argue, has a much better stretch. I mean, not because of anything particularly, it wasn't because of clever coding on my part. I just lifted it from Graxpert, but like it shows a lot more detail, and like this is a lot more detail than you would see out of the app. And yeah. And in some ways it was funny because I had, I'm not going to bring it up now, but I had, I took a video side by side where I had the app running, and I had it in, what do you call it? Like lunar mode. I was pointing at the moon, and consistently, it was interesting because they were, both the app and the web interface were hitting the same telescope looking at the moon at the same time, but yet the web interface would like if I'd, in the app move the telescope, like pan it somewhere or adjust the exposure, it would show up more quickly on the web live view than it would through the app. Like sometimes 2-3 seconds earlier, which I found interesting because it's pulling data from the exact same place. And I'm not sure if it's doing buffering or if there's some other thing going on, but it was, yeah. And the other thing that'll be nice, again, won't be on like immediately, but will be pretty soon, is like the app only shows you the elapsed exposure time, and it'll do a little pop-up saying, oh, you failed, a frame failed. But the Seestar itself is actually counting how many frames failed, and it actually sends it to the app. It's like broadcasting it saying, hey, 5 frames fails. Oh no, 6 frames have failed. And so what I want to do is actually just add that counter in there, so you'll be able to see, like I'll still do like the elapsed time, but I want to have an actual counter so you can see like how many frames dropped. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Al, for joining. Appreciate it. And hope to see you again soon too. So let me see. This one is still stacking, so I am going to stop. Yeah, this one I have to stop. So I was going to go. Oh, that was one thing I tried to do the last live stream, and things were just so chaotic, and it didn't work. And it turned out the Seestar, for whatever reason, was pointing at the wrong object. But let me go image. I tried to point it at M27, but for whatever reason, it was just pointing at a random piece of sky. And so I'll do that for now. This will be interesting because this one is actually imaging this telescope. The A telescope is actually imaging, but the interface doesn't know that because I restarted it. I mean, it knows it, but well, I'm kind of curious what it's going to do. Okay, so I started it. Internal error. Okay, it did stop the exposure, so it's going to the new target. So that's good. Yeah. So I'm going to let that kind of do it, and then I'll go back to the live view, because again, the live view doesn't do well if it's asked to like change things. So we'll see. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. And see, this also makes me want to get a third Seestar. There've been some changes. The latest firmware to the Seestar works with the Seestar ALP software, but there are some kind of quirks, and I haven't updated either one of my telescopes or the app. I turned off auto updates, and I've thought about getting a third telescope that'll be kind of just to run the latest, because most people are going to update, but I want to make sure that but I don't want to I want to be able to test it with the latest firmware, but I don't want to update both of the telescopes. So maybe I just update one of them, but part of me wants to leave both of them where it is. So that's where I was thinking of maybe getting a third one, especially with my challenging skies. But also now, see, I have room here. I wouldn't have to have the all sky view. I could have a third Seestar right here, and we could be looking at all 3 of them at the same time. So we'll see. Okay, now it claims this is stacking, so that's good. So are the mosaics being stitched together by the Seestar or Seestar ALP? Neither. Now they are being driven by the Seestar ALP software. So it knows where the panels are. It calculates where the panels are. So you say, I want a 3x3, and it tells the Seestar to say, okay, go to these coordinates for this amount, and then it just starts the exposure, and then after a certain amount of time, it stops it and then moves to the next panel. But it's just collecting frames from each individual panel, and they go into unique names, directories on the Seestar, so you can tell which panel is which. But it's only the Seestar itself will stack each panel separately. But what people do is they take all the they restack each panel within something like Cyril or PixInsight, and then they either, people do it in different ways, but then a lot of times they end up using a different piece of software to assemble the mosaic. And usually the one that people have been using is ASTAP, is this program. And yeah, you load up the panels in there, and it kind of plate solves each panel, so it knows where each panel is. So even if one had gaps, it would know where the panels should be relative to each other. But yeah, the Seestar itself, neither one. Yeah. Is it possible? So this is the interesting thing. So is it possible for the mosaic to be worked on by multiple Seestars? Now, the way it works right now, with the way the app works right now, each telescope has its own scheduler. So if you schedule a mosaic, it's only going to be on that one telescope, and it's going to want to do every panel. Except there was a new feature that was just added on the back end, and Wiley Site, who's in chat, added it to the web interface, and we'll probably be releasing it soon. You can specify which panels to image. So you define like a 3x3 panel and just say, I want to do, the reason for doing that is if you've had failures where, you had some clouds come through and like two of your panels failed, you can rerun the mosaic with the same definition and say, okay, I only want to run the first panel and the last panel in the series. So what you could do is you could load the same mosaic definition into two different Seestars through the ALP software. And that might be an interesting thing for me to, once Wiley Site, because he's going to get his code into the code base sooner than I'm going to get this code into the code base, I could potentially do that next live stream. Basically, I would take the same mosaic definition, load them into both Seestars, into Seestar ALP for both Seestars, and basically just say, okay, this one I want these panels, and this one I want these other panels. And so long as I specify the list and they don't overlap, I could have both of them working on the mosaic at the same time. So one thing I've changed, so it threw this internal error, and I think what's happening sometimes is, again, goes back to my slow Wi-Fi. I ended up adding timeouts to the Seestar ALP software on the back end when it's talking to the Seestars for various reasons, but because it used to be it wouldn't ever time out. So I set a fairly low timeout. And the problem is when I have both of them running and there's so much congestion, it times out. So I changed the configuration file to allow it to be specified, and I had it set to like 2 seconds. and I've increased it now to 5 seconds on mine. But I think that's what's happening is every so often it's trying to talk to the Seestar, and there's too much going on over my fragile wireless network, and it ends up timing out, and that's why it throws the error. But you see, when I reload, it immediately came back. So I think this one is okay. So I'm going to see if I can actually bring this one up. And again, I'm manually typing the URL just because this the kind of, if I go directly on live, aces. This is what I wanted to show the other day, but I'm very happy with that because it didn't work, and I got it to work right after the live stream, so that's great. I'm not sure how many frames are on that, but that's fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Because unfortunately I can't view it in the app, but the app, it doesn't look nearly that. I mean, it looks okay, but it's not nearly as bright. Yes. So Piper Floyd, yes, you basically say, yeah, panels 1 through 8 and 9 through 16. Yes. Which is, yeah, I think I might, since Wiley Site's testing out the code right now, I think I'll, between now and Saturday, I'm gonna get that code, and maybe I'll demo it, and then I can have live view of both. So then you can see different panels showing up at the same time. I'd have to figure out a bright enough target. Maybe M16 again. Maybe I do a mosaic of M16. That would be an easy one. I could do a 1x2 mosaic, and then have each half on different Seestars. I mean, it wouldn't be like the most amazing demo, but it would be cool. Like you could see both of the panels. And yeah, it doesn't take, M27 does not take many frames, but it's still very satisfying, like that this is actually working and it's updating. I just don't have visibility on how many frames are involved, but this feels good because I've been working on this. I spent so much time on this code for the last week and it was so rough. It was even rougher on an earlier live stream, but last live stream I felt like it was a bit rough, and I was having to change the code more because star mode would, like, I had to manually flip it between continuous exposure and stack mode, but now it kind of detects it, which even though it wasn't able to recover, at least when I restarted the process, it was able to say, oh, you're in stacking mode, and now I'll just proceed. Anyway, I'm just basking in the moment that that it actually is working, and other people are able to witness that it's actually working. Much to do though. Yeah, so it numbers the panels based on RA declination. So if you have 3x2, you'd have 11, 21, 31, 20, 20. Yeah. But yeah, I do want to do, yeah, that might be a good one. And M16, the good thing is M16 is bright enough that I could get enough data pretty quickly with a mosaic. So you'd be able to see pretty quickly, like the two halves coming together. And actually, what else could we try? What would be another? I mean, Wiley Site's done a lot more mosaics than I have. M9, that's a good point. Let me look at that. And the good thing is too, at least where I am, yeah, I could do it basically first thing, like as soon as the live stream starts. Yeah, see, if I started it like right at, like even before 9, I could potentially, the sun's starting to set early enough. I could probably go live at 8:45. And if I had everything aligned, it would get I'd get enough time. I'd get 40 over half an hour on each. So that would be cool. See, like, let's look at this. Oh, wait, M9. M9? Am I looking at the right thing? No, not M9. Not M9. M8, maybe? M9's a globular. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Lagoon, maybe. No. Wait. M8. Close. Off by one. Off by one air. Um, yeah, that one could do. Or wait, there was another one. Is Omega? Omega's small. Yeah. Yeah, maybe do the lagoon. Yeah, off by one air. You know, there's well, you know, there's three kinds of or there's two kinds of hard problems in actually, hold on a second. I just realized I'm on I have the night mode on, night shift mode on. Let me turn that off. Much better. Okay. Anyway, there's two hard problems in computer science. There's cache invalidation, naming things, and off by one errors. Anyway, I'm not going to give up my day job, and I'm not going to start doing stand up. Don't worry. So yeah, M6 would be good. Oh, what would be no? See, I don't think. I don't know. Or no, M6, M8, M8. Yeah, so I might do M8, and that would actually. The good thing is I could start that just at around 9. So yeah, I wouldn't have to move the live stream back any earlier. I could start at around 9. I might not be able to see it at exactly 9, but it would be soon afterwards. Maybe enough. Maybe I could get kind of the initial alignment, horizontal calibration done, and then try to do lagoon, and then do a 1x2 mosaic of it, and then have both panels visible. Yeah, that would work, I think. Because unfortunately, like, the skies are so dark. I mean, so bright here that it would be hard to. A lot of other targets I would try to get would not be ideal. So let's see. Let me shut this off. Dang it. What other ones? I mean, I could even do. Is the veil? The veil might be too high. Is the veil too high? At 9 o'clock. Yeah, I could think of. Yeah, the veil might work. And that one starts showing data pretty quickly. And if I even did just like a simple kind of 1x2 mosaic, like centered on, this star here, maybe, where it's doing kind of this part and then this part, that could be cool. I just have to figure out if it's 1x2 or 2x1. That's going to be the hard part, but otherwise, that might be a good one. Although maybe I'll start with the Eagle Nebula, and then I could go to this one afterwards. But yeah, then I'd be able to do mosaic with selective panel imaging and live view all at once, all at the same time. Yeah, this is very satisfying that this is working. The one thing I know, I've come so far, but the one thing I'm missing, um, that I really would like to have is knowing how many frames it's taken. But um, but that will be, yeah, it should be relatively easy to do that. Yeah, this is coming together. I'm quite satisfied with this. And it definitely will make further live observing streams a little bit more observing and less kind of, Jedi mind trick. You're going to have to imagine this is not the target you're looking for. No, I mean, just, or kind of imagine, let's imagine that I'm actually able to live view this. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could do it for the one, but the other one I can't. So like, I know how much data is on this one. I can just put it down here. But I know how much data is on this one, but I don't know how much is on this one. But so yeah, this one's up to half an hour. Yeah, and this really shows how much brighter the stars are, or how much more data is actually there that the Graxper stretch is bringing out. So one of the things that Kai mentioned that I hadn't really considered, since we're actually capturing the images, or we actually grab them in the back end and then send them to the browser, we could actually save them out. And that includes video, because some of the stuff, I think some of the live view stuff doesn't. Anyway, it would allow us to capture everything, potentially. Preview, it would. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, you can change the gain of the camera, and you can change the gain of the camera. And I started messing around with seeing if I could change the gain while in preview mode, and trying to like bring out more details, but it kind of wasn't conclusive. It did seem to be doing something, where it looked like some of the gain settings were making it noisier, the image noisier, but again, in live preview mode of star kind of continuous exposure mode. But that's an area where we might be able to kind of do more, give more control in the web interface. So yeah, maybe more gain, but I don't know what the upper limit of the gain is. It would be nice if you could like crank up the gain, and then with the stretching, like maybe have like a non-stacked view that is a little bit brighter. But maybe that's too much to ask for. But yeah. So that's good. So we are up to, yeah, and it's, again, the other thing I'm very happy about is, actually, this is an interesting thought. When I would run two apps here, a lot of times they would time out. Like one of them would time out, or it would take just an inordinate amount of time. But one thing I've noticed is, for whatever reason, the app, maybe because it just kind of, I don't know, it seems to be able to, seems to update more frequently. like this hasn't updated. It's kind of, it says enhancing, but it hasn't showed up anymore. And sometimes it'll take a while to even show the first image. Um, but yeah, yeah. So let me consider what I want to image next, since it's actually all working at this moment. So let me see what M. So we've got M11 on the right. Let me see how much more time I have before M11 disappears. And I need to adjust to the current time. Let me resize this window. The problem is I end up going down here and then it brings up the dock, which is annoying. Okay, current time. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's just over. It just clears this building, so I can keep that one going for a bit. But let me see if there's something else I can do besides M27. I could do the Crescent Nebula, maybe. But yeah, the having it where it kind of recovers better would be nice. Because ideally I'd like to have it go between targets and then the live view kind of pauses and then resumes when the next target shows up. And then let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm imaging now. M27. What is that one? Okay. Maybe I'll do the veil. Actually, maybe I'll do the veil on the maybe I'll do the veil on the on this one. So I'm gonna stop this one. And I'm gonna point this at the veil. Welcome, Seiko. What did you miss? Things are actually working. We'll see if they continue working. But I have both telescopes going with the new live view going on both using the Graxpert stretch. And Seiko was actually the one on the live stream who said, well, maybe because the stretch I had was hideous and was like, well, maybe Graxpert, or said something about Graxpert. And I was like, actually, that's written in Python, so we could actually do that. Let me look up Veil. I'm actually driving this from this interface instead of from the web interface. Is it the West Veil I want? It's the East Veil I want. East Veil. Let's go. So now, yeah, so, and it's hard to tell because there's no feedback, but this keeps updating, so it's definitely working. Now you can see this one again. This header is separately kind of, the web page is built up from like 3 different things, and so this header updates pretty responsively, but the image itself doesn't handle mode changes completely yet. But it will soon. Like that's the next thing I need to fix, since I have all the pieces kind of, my watch was out of out of power, so I had to charge it. Um, but yeah, it's one of the next things I need to fix since everything's kind of working together in one uh, program right now. Um, Hopefully this will actually. I mean, the good thing is it cleared up, but sometimes it has a hard time. Um, Although, yeah, this is the B telescope. For some reason, this one just is challenged. Let me see. If it doesn't identify the target, I'm just going to stop it. Well, I'm not. Yeah, so last live stream I kind of mashed the two things together into one. Um, but really that was just kind of a temporary thing. What I ended up doing is each page is separate, and it's just the browser I have lets me kind of have multiple web pages kind of on the screen at the same time in different kind of split interface. Um, but each one is separately. Okay, this finally showed up. Okay, so let me start recording, and I'll wait. If all goes well, since it does have a hard time doing kind of mode changes, I'm going to wait until this is actually stacked something, and then I'll reload this, and hopefully it'll pick up the stack then. But the good thing is, theoretically, like it's so close because this telescope, I was able to point it at M27. Like this telescope, I have no control over through the app. Like none of my apps can control this one. So I was able to do all the setup, do the and kind of calibrate it, and then point at this and live view it without using the app. So, um, okay, so it's up to 40. So let's try reloading this tab. I mean, this page. So hopefully this won't have too many problems, because if it does, I'm going to have to restart. Again, it's so close at this point. So it's telescope B. What was that? That was a B. Did I just see something with B? Oh, B did receive. Okay. One other thing that I've noticed, it's strange. It appears it'll get a live stack, but then it won't show it. It won't stream to the browser until the second one. Oh, look at that. So here's the app version, and here's the the live view version, and it's yeah. I was just thinking as I'm looking at that, I'm like, do I restart it with the more aggressive stretch? But I'm not going to, because it also increases the noise quite a bit. Like the good thing is I can definitely see. I mean, I don't know if it comes through on YouTube, but I can definitely see more color in here on the live view version than the app version. I mean, there is some color here, but I mean, there's also a lot more noise on the right one, but yeah. So 250 and 02 sec. Yeah, it's again on my network, it's taking about 30 seconds, I think, to load each image. So it's if depending on how many successful frames I'm having, it's yeah, maybe every second, maybe a couple frames per update. But yeah, I was curious how this would look in the live view, since it is kind of a bit fainter. But it you start seeing some data pretty quickly. But um, yeah, yeah. The other, yeah, yeah, yeah. There is more noise. It is funny because one of the things I was thinking of, Graxpert has the Graxpert since the Graxpert code is written in Python, I was like, I could even add the code to do gradient removal, not the AI gradient removal, because I feel like that takes too long. But I feel like with 30 seconds between images, I could potentially, we could potentially give the option to do gradient removal on the live stack as it's going. That could be cool. Um, yeah, and the AI noise reduction. Actually, the AI background extraction isn't the one that takes so much time. I mean, it takes a decent amount of time. It's the AI noise reduction that takes a lot of time. But I should see. Let me see. I have Graxpert here. Actually, do I have an image I could load up? Oops. Um, oops. Let me see if I can find an image. If I can find an image that would be worth messing around with. Hold on. Will this load? No, that's not a. I'm just looking for other example images. I actually, one of the ones I ran across that I have in this directory is actually an image Seiko sent in Discord. But let me see. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so this is an image that I've that I've imaged previously. Could be set up to do it like flats. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, yeah. Get a few to start with and then apply background subtraction. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the previous message almost goofed up. Forgot. Yeah. Yeah, actually when I was doing some of the testing, I hadn't plugged in the battery and I got I ended up spending more time working on code than I expected. Well, I had the telescope sitting outside and I got it down really low. Like single digit battery, I think. Yeah, that's good. Especially if you're running it all night. You don't. That would you would that would be a bummer. That especially if you're trying to capture missing data from a mosaic and then you end up running out of battery and missing it again. So let's see background extraction. Let's see how quickly this runs. So this is a stack from a few weeks ago, but no processing's happened with it. So sorry. Okay. So you see how quickly. So we could do that. I mean, that took like a couple of seconds. Yeah, that would be worth it. And this is the AI background extraction. So I could do that live. That would be cool. Now let's see the denoising. The The problem is the denoising. AI inference batch set. I wonder what if I increase this to a bigger number, if it takes less time. Let's see. I haven't actually messed around with that parameter. Actually, this was done in neither. This was right out of the Seestar. This is the Seestar stack. I'm just processing it. Let me see. So this was a 30. I'm doing a 32 AI 32 batch. Now, will it take less time? It always takes a while to start up. I'm just trying to figure out if I can denoise it. Yeah, the background extraction. Oh, the background extraction. I mean, what I did just now was is in Graxpert. This is I'm just doing this all in Graxpert. Yeah, see this, but some of it is just the model starting up, and I wonder if this is like a one-time initialization, because like if you can preload that while it's running, and then yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. Because that's a good point, because I'm running this on my computer, but if I was running this on a Raspberry Pi, I do think the yeah, I'll have to look at that. I'll test it out and maybe make it configurable, because it still would be kind of cool to like have gradient removal like on the fly. Yeah, this imagine if this is taking this long on a fairly modern laptop on a Raspberry Pi, this would not be good. And actually, let me see how much memory this thing is using. It is using 19 gig of memory. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing the noise reduction on a Raspberry Pi. That seems highly inadvisable. I mean, yeah, it would be. What would be interesting is if there's some other denoise algorithm, like kind of like the denoise that's in Serial. I'm sure there is. I mean, that would be great if I could do that live. Can you imagine? That would be amazing to like denoise it on the fly, but that was way too slow. To go from this to that on a live stack, that would be amazing. But at the very least, I could, do the gradient removal, I think, which would be nice, because even on like this image, it cleans it up. But if we look at, actually, let me see, because I'm using OpenCV denoise. Image denoising. There you go. Oh, noisy frames. Huh. Works with a single color image. Oh. I mean, do I want to try this? Do I want to try this? Oh. What do I... Fast NL means denoising colored. And it's, what are the parameters? Filter strength. Um, hmm. I'm just, I can't help myself. Let me go, let me see. Nope. Let me see if this, I we are live coding again. What could go wrong? We'll see. We will see. I can't help myself. So here's the Graxpert stuff. Um and see, you can see it was like 15%. So let me see. That's the old stretching I had. I just can't. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. Um uh it recognizes that library function. I really can't help myself, can I? Okay. Okay. Send it. Yeah, it's wait, is there a send? Was that one of the things that went by? Yeah, I mean, because like it logs when it's sending the frame to the front end. Um, okay, so let me try this. Uh, let's see. Oops. Let us see. Let's see if it blows up. Let's see. Oh, wait. It failed. Type of input. Oh. Type must be. Let me look at that. Okay. Wait a second. Let me go back to the code. When I stretch it, rescale intensity. Oh, it does it as a float. If it's the stack, it's a 16-bit. I wonder. Yeah. Like there was some code in here to. Yeah, I'll have to look at it. Dang it. But hey, maybe it'll be something for the next live stream. Because that would be cool if I could denoise it on the fly. Oh man. I could have like a real image processing pipeline in place. Yeah. Okay. Where did I make that change? No. Is it down here? Yeah. Oh well, I tried. I tried. I failed. But it is intriguing. Scope creep alert. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll hold off on that until I get the code at least merged in so other people can look at it. We don't want this to turn into like the never released project. Yeah, so the zip, I'm not sure what the Seestar does, but um, on the code side, it does it in memory. So it gets the data from the Seestar into memory into this uh, variable called data, and then it basically wraps it in a structure that makes it look like a file that's in memory, and then it unzips it, and then yeah, processes it. So, oh, did I end up maybe in the process of restarting it? I ended up, yeah. Actually, let me look at that. Or actually, no. What probably happened is it was done with the image. But still, that would actually let me look at this now. Doing live coding. And Joe V missed it. Joe V missed the live coding. Um, Let me see. What was it? Groxpert. No, it wasn't the Groxpert stretch. Where was it? It's basically, it takes the incoming. There's just a lot of code here. Stretch. No, it wasn't stretch. No, stack. Stack. Okay. Nope. Not there. Not there. Not there. I'm getting there. No. Where is that? What am I thinking? Oh, this is the code. So this reshapes it. Yeah. I'd have to downsample it into 8-bit to do the noise reduction, and they're both 16-bit. So no, I had a brief thought that maybe there was a way around it, but there isn't. All right, let me restart this other one, the Veil, so you can keep looking at that. But yeah, that being able to do noise reduction, and the thing is, it's theoretically it's not that much extra code because a lot of that's handled in that library, and we're already having to use that library, that code that for other thing as part of the processing. So it really wouldn't be extra effort to. Okay, cool. Okay, so here is, yeah, nice. Definitely can see. See, now I really want to get rid of the noise since I know it should be possible. And actually, coping mechanism. Well, but see, it's a 16-bit image internally, but then it gets kind of rendered to a JPEG and sent down over the wire, and that's 8-bit, an 8-bit image as far as I know, 8 bits per channel. So really it has to be converted to 8-bit anyway, so I might as well do the noise reduction then. Unless there's a 16-bit. Anyway, I'm not going to live code that. Although I could live research it, but before I do that, let me see if there's another target I can look at with the other telescope. Actually, yeah, what would be a good one? What does the Groxpert look like for denoise? The problem is it's that AI denoise, and that takes like half a minute or a minute per frame. So I think that would be way too slow, which is why I was looking for like a better, like a simpler one. But let me see. Which one is this? Oh, that's the Deerlick group. Maybe I do that one. That's a galaxy cluster. Yeah, let's do the Deerlick group. I'll do NGC 7331. Okay. So I'll go to schedule, image, NGC 7331, search, and I'll do it for half an hour. And submit and start. And I'm going to monitor this one, and once it starts stacking, I'll switch to the live view. Is there another one besides the AI? I think there was an AI for a non-AI for background extraction, but I thought Graxpert only had, because like with background extraction, you can pick other algorithms, but actually the AI one doesn't take that much time. But like the denoising, I think is just AI in Graxpert. I think. Yeah. I don't think there's a non-AI denoise. Otherwise, that would be the one to try out, but I don't think there is. So since this is auto running, this one is working. The scheduler isn't running because it's because I manually triggered the secondary one. But let's see. You know, the only other thing that, oh god. So the Seestar Alp software has integration with Stellarium, where you can either tell it where to send the telescope, or you can send the coordinates to the Seestar Alp, which will then point the Seestar at a given point. It can also report back the status to Stellarium. I still need to get that part working. I mean, the code's done. Somebody else did it. I just haven't hooked it up, because then I could have Stellarium up and you could see kind of. But the other thing I've thought about is like, well, you know, like you can, it's fairly easy to to basically have a web interface that shows kind of the night sky, because there's third-party libraries and stuff, and I was like, well, we could build it into this, into the SSC, where it could actually show you where in the sky the telescope's pointed. Yeah. What was it? That Astro Mosaic was Astro Mosaic. No, it was their GitHub. GitHub. Yeah, K-Stars does run on the Pi, but I was thinking of building everything into the web interface, but that wouldn't work in offline mode. So that would be a problem. Visual view of target using Aladdin Sky Atlas. Let me see. Because I think I had looked into it, and it wasn't actually that complicated to do it. Yeah. Anyway, that was another thing I was thinking about. It's like, well, I could actually show. We could actually do that, but that would be another massive scope creep. Um, okay, so this is stacking. What was I gonna look up? Um, actually, let me go look at, bring this back. And which one did I point at on this one? This was pointing at the Deerlick group, which is a galaxy cluster. It's not the brightest, so it might take some data before stuff shows up. Oh, is it moving? Is it actually not stacking yet? 39.6. Let me see. Let me look at the log file. See, that would be another thing I need to have some feedback where it. No, it's getting. No, that's B. No, it's getting the. Darn it. Because to get it out of this mode, I basically have to restart it. This is where it's not 100% yet. It's in that transition between stacking and continuous, like the preview mode, where it kind of goes wrong. But again, it's close. It just needs a little bit of a little tweak, I think. Yes, it got the image this time. Yeah, because the non-stacked one is like it starts with a 4. It's over 4 megabytes, but the stacked one is 12. It starts with a 12. It's 12 megabytes. So I saw the 12, which so I knew it had grabbed the right image. It just takes a little bit of time sometimes to pull it. Okay, so this one is working. And let me reload this one. And yeah, there's going to be some adjustments to it, like being able to keeping the last image in memory better when it's so that when I hit reload it immediately, well, I restarted it so it wouldn't have the last one in memory, but yeah. Yeah, there's still adjustments that need to be made. But this is updating, and yeah, the veil's coming along nicely. Let's see what. Yeah, see, I mean, again, the noise. I think I'll be able to reduce that, but it's definitely got more. Yeah, it's definitely more brighter. Seems to have more color. And then the other thing that I haven't done, the Graxberg code also has this saturation feature where you can. Whoa, that's too much. But like, you can increase the saturation. That code, I actually had brought it over, but I had problems. Um, yeah, hold on. Hold on. I'm just. Yeah, sorry. Misfire. Okay. But yeah, if you. That was a misfire. Yeah. I get way too many junk texts. Anyway. Yeah, the saturation there. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But yeah, but yeah, I did get the code, but it's not it's I was having a hard time getting it to work for the same kind of reason that I was having with the um same kind of problems I was having with trying to get that denoise working. Um, but um, yeah, but now I'm looking at it, I'm not sure about the saturation, honestly. I think I'll leave it alone. Um, but yeah. Yeah, now see, gradient removal, I think, would be good. I mean, this has a pretty bad gradient. And I think being able to dynamically remove that would be helpful. Um, yeah. What else? Um, yeah. And besides the colors, I mean, you can definitely see a lot more stars. I mean, there's a lot more noise on this one, but it's good because you can get a better feel for how much data you're actually collecting. Um, what was I gonna? What was it? The Graxpert noise reduction. Let me see. Let me look at that. Actually, no, not noise reduction. It was the um, here's the Graxpert code. And actually, let me look at the stretch. Was it stretch code? Yeah. So I actually had just pulled the code out of their code base, and I think no, it wasn't in here, but I had also pulled over the saturation code, but I didn't get it to work, and now that I'm looking at it, it wasn't necessarily something I want to. Not my next priority. Let's put it that way. Save stretched. But yeah, this is the code for Graxpert. Yeah, yeah, that's true. The noise is there, but you just can't see it. Um, Actually, yeah, that was what I was going to look for, the gradient. Where is the gradient? Oh, but let's see. Here's the denoise. Actually, um, I wonder. Oh, okay, no, here's the AI. Yeah, AI. I was hoping maybe they had a non-AI implementation that maybe wasn't in the interface, but um, background extraction. Actually, Gaussian kernel. I'm just sorry, I'm just quickly looking at. Oh, and so here it's got the interpolation type AI, but they have non-AI gradient removal. And yeah, actually, some of this code is relatively straightforward as far as something that I could port over. Oh, and here's the different non-AI methods. The RBF splines, Kriging. Yeah. So I think it would be doable to bring that over. Yeah. Nice. Um yeah. Let's go back to this. Oops. I'm flipping around between different windows and trying to find the one that I was looking for. But yeah, it's I think that's pretty pretty good. It's getting there. And I think when I'll do the next live stream will be on on Saturday. But I'm definitely liking this setup here. Like I kind of finally got it where I wanted to have it. Yeah, I but it was showing cloudy here tomorrow. I could potentially do one tomorrow night. If not, I'll do it Saturday night. Saturday it looks good. So possibly tomorrow. So keep an eye out for it. Or maybe I'll do both if it's clear both nights. Because, yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, it depends on, I guess, how many people are on the live stream. I might end up, maybe I'll end up doing some coding on one of them. Maybe have kind of the code ahead of time, like figure out what I'm going to do ahead of time and then try to fix it, like the denoising. Because yeah, that I think that would. Let's look at this. Yeah, yeah. So it might. I might end up doing a live stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll do tomorrow and Saturday, and then that would, like I say, that would give me more time to kind of refine things. Although if it looks like it's going to be cloudy or more scattered clouds tomorrow, maybe I won't do a live stream, but then I'll use that opportunity to kind of make some of these code changes. And so then Saturday everything will be like no live coding. But let's see. Let us see. Yeah, let's see, is that, yeah, okay, I'm just making sure that everything is updating. Yeah, this is, wait, 2328. Yeah, yeah, they're all 2328. Cool. So everything's updating. Nice. And the other nice thing is I'm not having to juggle devices like I've done in previous live streams. So this will be good. I just need to get the live view a little bit more robust, and that shouldn't take much more time to get it where I want it to be, at least for the live streams, and being able to merge in the code. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So much noise on this one. But yeah, it's very satisfying. I don't know what I would do if I had a third telescope. I mean, is it possible for me to do 4? Yeah. So I could have 3 telescopes and 3 live views and like the all sky camera all at once. Slightly overkill, but at least I know I can do it if it ever comes to that. But yeah, I'm not sure. I might get another telescope, another Seestar. Just so I can test the latest firmware with the app. But we shall see. But yeah, I think I'm not. I mean, yeah, there's so much noise on the Seestar to begin with, and especially I'm Bortle 9, and so it's struggling with a lot of, yeah. But yeah, I mean, so today was mostly I wanted to demonstrate I wanted to do a little live observing, but I also wanted to kind of uh, demonstrate, but also kind of get some time in with the live view, and it's definitely performed like I had hoped, or even better than I had hoped. Um, I mean, there were rough edges, but given that I was fixing code just, uh, you know, 15 minutes before the live stream started, I feel pretty, it went fairly smoothly. So, yeah, might be a live stream tomorrow, might not, either tomorrow or Saturday. But in any case, I think I'm probably going to wrap it up. So, uh, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please feel free to. And I could have my there's a Discord server in the description if you want to join and chat about various things related to sea stars or other astronomy topics, Cyril, whatever else. And I think I may just leave it at that. I'll give people a moment or two if there are any, because sometimes my chat ends up a little bit behind. But yeah, and yeah, there were some yeah, but yeah, well, I'm eager to kind of put the finishing touches on this code so I can get it out there at least where others can start kicking the tires on it. Because I think, I mean, based on what happened with the web interface, I think it'll probably start evolving quickly once other people get involved with it, because people can start adding some of the functionality I was talking about themselves. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one, probably, like I say, either tomorrow and or Saturday. Yep. Have a good night and clear skies. Bye.